Okay, guys. D&D 5e has released paladins of their need to be a religious sect, of being religious holy warriors. In fact, now they're just warriors who have taken an oath. So I have a question for you. Outside of a religious order, what is the best grouping that a paladin can belong to? We're not going to roll on this one, just throw the ideas out. Because what I thought was like a conglomerate, like a business. Right? These are the guys, these are the repo men. These are the ones who are being sent out to collect the debts.
Okay,
all hail the Lord of money.
Okay, fine. I mean, I was leaning more towards like the monarchy. Like I'd lay down my life for the queen. She hasn't got a whole lot. Probably not now, because she's going to get an extra 2 years or something like that. I'm 33. I'm not dying so she can get an extra 2 years. But 30 years ago, I would have done that.
I mean, even the first in line to the throne should probably abdicate at this point. Charles, I'm looking at you.
Hey, my nana said always said for years that Charles will abdicate. I think we're going to go straight to William and Princess Catherine, because she's not a Kardashian. Kyle?
Yeah. I think just like protecting a certain group of people. Like, so my mind goes to, those bikers against child abuse.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Okay. I think those guys can kind of be paladins.
That's pretty good. Yeah, I like that. Yeah, now I imagine D&D world like a group of riders,
Yeah. That are basically all just paladins. You'd think they would be rangers, but no, man.
Yeah, I'd maybe suggest do something else. We don't want to encourage that kind of theme coming up over and over again in D&D.
Warriors, come out to play!
Well, just you don't want to be like breaking into the cave to like get the MacGuffin, and then Kyle's like, anybody touching kids in here? God damn, Kyle.
It's a Mimic, the round table Dungeons & Dragons discussion, where you never know what you're going to get.
Welcome to another episode in our conversation on classes. I am Terry, and with me today are Kyle and Dan, and this episode is called Paladins, putting the Pal in Paladin. We previously covered the Oaths of Ancients, Devotion, and Vengeance subclasses in our first Paladin episode, which started off with a breakdown of the regular class features and level progression. In our second Paladins episode, we went over the Conquest, Glory, and Redemption subclasses, as well as the sections in Xanathar's Guide to Everything, which encourage players to consider personal goal, symbol, nemesis, and temptation, nemesis. You can find these episodes as well as our other class episodes on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and dozens of other podcast apps, or you can jump over to YouTube and dig into the entire playlist on classes that we've built there. This episode, though, is going to take us into the pages of Tasha's Cauldron of Everything, where we're going to take a look at the subclass presented there, as well as the optional class features, and we'll also finally be covering the popular entry in the Dungeon Master's Guide, as well as the often forgotten Paladin subclass from the Sword Coast Adventurer's Guide.
Something I learned today, Terry. You actually just told it to me. We always shorthand it to Skag.
Right.
Apparently in the UK, that is not a shittily made book.
Skag means heroin.
That means heroin. All right.
You guys never seen Trainspotting, the movie?
Oh, yeah, of course I have. I just never made that connection.
Yeah, they're always talking about Skag because they're addicted to heroin.
Ewan McGregor.
Anyway, okay. Well, I guess before we go into our individual subclasses, we're going to have to take a real little recap into the class features from the player's handbook, so we can get warmed back up into Paladins.
Yeah, it's been a while since we've touched base on it. So
yeah, absolutely. So I won't go into too much detail here, but you guys let me know if you want me to touch on something else in a little bit more detail
later. Wink.
Man, it's been a while. So at hit dice 1d10 per paladin level, we know that paladins are proficient with simple weapons and martial weapons. We know that their saving throws are wisdom and charisma, and we know that typically they're known for being the heavily armored great weapon fighting soldier of God, essentially.
Yeah,
but we're going to explore ways today in which it doesn't need to be that way.
Or is super that.
Yeah.
Or super the tank of the party.
Yeah, that's right. So a paladin will have a divine sense. It'll also get the ability to do lay on hands, which is their healing ability that they have. They get to choose one fighting style from any of the 4 in here, and then there's 2 in Tasha's, which we will be going over today. There's 3 in Tasha's, which we will. I promise I did my research for this. Okay. It's just when I'm going up to the DM seat, I get nervous. There's a lot to remember. They get spellcasting, they're charisma spellcasters, they get divine smite, they get divine health, and they get to choose a sacred oath. And we'll be looking at the new sacred oath in Tasha's today. That is essentially the broad strokes of everything you need to know about a paladin. We've covered all of that in more detail previously.
Yeah, I mean, you really get the idea that paladins are there to be the frontline warrior in the party, and they inject that little bit more flavor than, say, a fighter does. right? I always find that the other head of the coin to a fighter, where like fighters are just about tearing shit apart and optimizing their martial capabilities. The paladin has that little bit of mysticism to it, that little bit of divine power that fuels them. I freaking love paladins, man. They're one of my favorite classes.
They are there to smite.
Yeah. Oh
Bitch
yeah,
ass
and
smite.
they become the one note pony. Pretty. That's not even a thing. One note pony.
One trick pony?
One trick pony. There you go. They become one note and a bit of a one trick pony. There we go.
Blending phrases is your specialty.
And I do not do it intentionally. I'm just shit with phrases. But it's kind of sad because a lot of the spells they get are pretty fucking incredible.
Well, should we look at some of the new stuff?
Sure.
Why don't we take a look at the 5 new spells that paladins get access to out of Tasha's here?
Sure.
So, Gentle Repose essentially stops the body from decomposing and stops it from turning undead as well, I believe, for a short amount of time.
Does it also allow you to revivify?
Revivify?
Later? Revivify? I always get that wrong.
So what Gentle Repose lets you do is that it basically puts stasis on a body for 10 days, where you could touch a corpse or any other remains. For the duration, the target is protected from decay and cannot become undead. The spell also effectively extends the time limit on raising the target, like you said, which allows you to revivify days later. So since days spent under the influence of the spell don't count against the time limit of such spells like Raise Dead. So if you manage to get a Gentle Repose down, which takes an action to cast immediately after and you don't have Revivify, you're basically pushing pause on the body.
Right.
So the next day you get Revivify, you can bring a body back.
It is useful. It's overlooked, I think, as well,
Yeah.
because people immediately you're trying to get to Revivify, but if that's not an option, Gentle Repose is always good. How about Prayer of Healing? So I believe that's a 10-minute casting time, not a ritual, and it's a group healing spell.
Yes, you're completely correct. I mean, you could do up to 6 target creatures within range, and they deal 2d8 plus your spellcasting modifier, so your charisma as a paladin, in healing. And it has no effect on undead or constructs, which also has the spell slot bump. So because this is a 2nd level spell, at 3rd, 4th, and 5th levels, you could cast a Prayer of Healing higher, and each time you do, you get another d8.
Perfect. Warding Bond, I believe, allows you to share a hit pool with another willing creature.
So yeah, it basically creates a connection between you and one other creature until the target ends, which is an hour without concentration, which is key. This is something you cast when you're about to enter the boss fight room, and then it's just a buff that you get straight up. It gives the target of your spell, which is within 60 feet of you, a bonus to AC and saving throws, as well as resistance to all damage, period. So, Bear Totem Warriors, this is better.
Nice.
That's pretty good.
However, each time that target takes damage, you take the same amount of damage. Okay? Now, the spell will end whenever you or the target drops to 0 hit points, or you become separated by more than 60 feet.
That would actually be kind of cool as an offensive spell. Like if you reversed like the benefits.
I guess, I mean, I'm trying to figure out, you cast it on a... Well, I mean, the creature does have to be willing, so I don't think you'll be able to do that, and you would end up taking half the damage anyways.
Yeah.
So
yeah, that's what I mean. It's it's almost like assisted suicide, right? Like you want to take me down, I'm going to take you down with you. Or wait,
I don't think it quite works that way.
Yeah.
I think there are other spells that do that. This is purely a benefit where the target gains resistance and boosts to their armor class, and you end up paying the cost of taking their damage with them.
Nice. Spirit Shroud. Spirit Shroud essentially allows you to cast an extra 1d8 damage of any of Radiant, Necrotic, or Cold damage, and it also allows you to reduce that creature's speed by 10 feet as well. Final one I have for you is Summon Celestial, where you can summon a Celestial. I don't know if there's any particular rules that go along with that. I'm sure there is, but that's essentially the meat and potatoes of it.
So the main thing with Summon Celestial is it's again one of these Tasha's spells. It lets you summon a very generic Celestial that's statted out, and you summon that exact same Celestial. So previous editions, you get a range of Celestials you could cast. No, you get the one.
Right.
And you just flavor it however you want.
I Googled it to get the information. I don't go on Reddit because I find it to be a nasty place. And I Googled it, and the first thing that came up was a Reddit entry about this spell. And it simply said, Summon Celestial sucks. And I said, that's enough Reddit for one day for me.
No, they're not wrong. It is not a great spell. You spend your bonus action to kind of tell the Celestial what to do, And it could do things like, it could use its action to heal, which is a little drop in the pan heal.
Right.
Which this is a 5th level spell for you. It should be more than a drop in a pan heal at that point.
And you guys, is there anything that jumps out to you there from those new spells that you think doesn't fit?
Doesn't fit the
That doesn't
generic
fit the
paladin.
theme, or that jumps out for any other reason?
Spirit Shroud kind of feels off, but that's just because the other 4 feel very kind of
Right.
cleric-y, right?
Yeah.
The spells add that little bit of like buffer and booster and protection.
Yeah.
Whereas Spirit Shroud is very offensive and very... I mean, you're going to be blowing your spell slots to smite anyway, so it doesn't really fucking matter. But
That's true. True enough. Okay, well, let's take a look. There's 3 additional fighting styles as well as options in Tasha's too. So the first one is Blessed Warrior, which allows you to learn 2 cantrips from the cleric spell list, and then you have the ability to change these later on. You can replace one cantrip as you level up, I believe, whenever you gain a level. Yeah, but I'll go through the other 2 before we even touch on these ones as well. Blind Fighting jumped out at me as well. So Blind Fighting allows you to have blind sight within a range of 10 feet, and means that even if you are blinded, you can still effectively see a target within 10 feet of you, and you can still damage it as you would normally. Moreover, you can even see invisible creatures within that range, unless that creature successfully hides from you. And the final one is Interception. When a target other than you is hit and that target is within 5 feet of you, you can reduce the damage. So it's you can reduce that damage by 1d10 plus your proficiency modifier to a minimum of 0. Rules for this is you must be wielding a shield or a simple or a martial weapon, which you most likely will be as a paladin.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess we can roll initiative if you would like to on this, and we can talk about whether or not you like these fighting styles.
got a 2. I'm rolling really well today,
I got a
guys.
1. So
14. Yeah, I think they're pretty good. I mean, blind fighting, it seems pretty scenario specific. I don't see it coming in handy a lot.
yeah, that's right. It's good, but
Yeah.
yeah.
How often are you actually going to use it?
Let's go in the cave again.
Interception is really good, especially if you are playing in party with a bunch of other melee characters, right? I'm about to start one where I'm playing a paladin, and I am the only melee character, so it's not really going to do me a whole lot of good. But I think it's a pretty powerful one, right?
Yeah.
If you're playing in a
1d10
party with a rogue especially, it's gonna be great. Or like a Hexblade warlock. Yeah.
Yeah. What about a protection fighter? Where they have a similar thing where they can essentially create
I mean,
disadvantage?
you take interception, you're also going to be picking up Sentinel at level 4. Let's be completely
Just
honest.
stand right next to your champion fighter who's a protection fighter as well, like I played, and you guys just do everything together and you'll be fine.
No monsters move.
Yeah.
You guys are just taking each other's damage away from each other. Like,
Yeah.
you're you throw a life cleric behind you, and okay, you're an unbeatable combo.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, Dan, unless it's your turn, unless there's anything else you want to add to it.
Honestly, Blessed Warrior, I get sweet. You get 2 cantrips as a paladin. That's really powerful. The cantrips selection for clerics is badass and can add a lot of flavor. Just take a level in cleric. You're going to get more spells slots at the end of the day by doing that for your smites.
Yeah.
So just take a level of cleric. It's going to go better for you at the end of the day. However you don't want to do it, I guess this is a good fit. Blind fighting, I'm with you, is very situational, and you only get the one fighting style, so why the hell would you take this?
Yes.
I mean, interception's badass. Like, it is just, of the 3 options, interception is by far the most powerful of them. Yeah. And it's not limited. You just do it as your reaction.
Yeah.
Right? So every turn, as long as you're standing shoulder to shoulder with one of your buddies, you're taking damage away from them.
Okay, so blind fighting I love. I think it's cool, but it's too situational for me. Blessed Warrior, from the way I played D&D, I'm not going to use that. I'm sure that would be very useful for somebody, but I'll look at the original fighting styles from the PHP, and I'm just going to lean into one of those. And then for Interception, I just view that as crappy protection fighter. Because protection fighter allows you to... The same rules, apart from the fact it's not reduced damage, it's put disadvantage on the attack. Because the damage is too little here that you reduce 1d10 plus your proficiency bonus, but as you start to get to higher levels, I think it's more advantageous to give disadvantage to that attack.
Yeah, I can see what you're saying there. I mean, before, like in tier 1, tier 2, interception's going to beat out the math in that 100%.
Yeah.
Tier 3, tier 4, when things are starting to hit for 40, 50, 60, 70 damage a hit, and they get 3 hits a round.
Yeah.
Okay, sure.
And it's a situational thing as well. And let me tell you, as playing a protection fighter, the other players aren't expected to dance to your tune. You know, they're thinking about your turn, not their turn, but you're constantly trying to put yourself in a position where you can aid them, and they're just constantly moving away because they're doing their own thing.
Well, you played the Protection Warrior in a group that had a sorcerer who was part barbarian, but was mostly just in the back casting Fireball. A ranged ranger, Horizon Walker, I think.
And a bullet.
And a monk who preferred to do ranged weaponry.
Yeah.
As well and run around the field. So like you suffered from having the fact that you had a protection based melee warrior that really benefited having other melee based combatants in the party.
Right.
And you didn't have them.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
Then I showed up with Rezu and finally you had someone to...
Finally a friend.
Yeah, someone to blast that off of.
Come on, guys, I just want to save you.
Exactly. Okay, well, next I want to talk about the Harness Divine Power. And I'll try and do this as easily as I can. But this allows you to expend one of your Channel Divinity to fuel your spells. Essentially, you can, as a bonus action, spend a Channel Divinity to refuel that spell slot up to half your proficiency bonus rounded up. So we're thinking maximum level 3 here, level 3 spell. And you can do this a number of times depending on your level. So 3rd level, you can do it once, 7th twice, and then 15th level, you can do it thrice. And you regain all expended uses when you finish a long rest.
This basically grows with your Channel Divinity, and clerics get much the same thing, except it's your full proficiency modifier with it that clerics get. So I love this, especially since I've played a Paladin a bunch of times. Kyle, I know you've played a Paladin. You know what it's like when you're about to go into that third combat between rests, and you're like, guys, I'm out of spell slots. I don't know what to tell you. I smoked the shit out of the skeletons in the first fight.
Yeah.
Had that one left for the necromancer in the second fight. We're about to fight these like ancient zombies. I got nothing.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm hitting it with my staff. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm just gonna poke it until it dies. You know, this helps. This gives a little bit more extension of that shelf life that a paladin suffers from.
Yeah, a little more versatility for your playing style.
Oh yeah, I mean that too, right? If you want to play a caster paladin, which why? But if you wanted to, you can have this just to get that other spell back. And like a cleric, you know all the spells, so like you got to prepare the ones you want for the day. But I mean, you want to throw another branding smite on something, this saves you that.
Yeah, I think for me the reason I'm not into it that much is because I'm very showy with my D&D, whether it's like causing a large amount of damage where I'm like, yes, awesome, or providing something truly useful to the rest of the party. Like you guys know, I like Bane and that type of spell where I feel, where people are like, thank you, Terry, for making our life easier. But if I'm just in the background politely touching myself, that came out wrong. I meant like as a cast
furiously touching yourself,
just to regain a spell slot, and I'm like, and that's my turn. Then it doesn't feel like everyone's going to be going, ooh.
Well, Channel Divinity is triggered as a bonus action, right? Mostly.
Right. Okay.
So you get this back as a bonus action.
I won't do it because it doesn't feel flashy enough. Is basically what I'm saying.
Just make it flashy.
Just like
Yeah.
interpretive done. Yeah, maybe.
You're a paladin. You're a charisma-based guy, right? You want people looking at you.
That's it. Yeah, paladins are actually really good dancers. Not that they ever get a chance. Not that anybody ever asks. Okay, I want to look at this next ability, Martial Versatility. And this one, I can't wait to hear what you think about, actually. Essentially, 4th level Paladin feature, Martial Versatility means that when you get to a point where you would get an ability score improvement, you can waive that for a chance to switch out your fighting style and not get an ability score improvement. What is your thoughts on this?
Is that... I thought you could just do it whenever you got an ability score improvement.
No, that's what this ability is.
Instead, fuck
Dan
that.
doesn't believe me.
Whenever you reach a class that gains an ability score modifier, you can replace a fighting style you have with another fighting style for paladins. This replacement represents a shift of focus in your martial practice. So you get to, when you hit the ASI level, you get to just, I don't like shields anymore. Great weapon.
Yeah.
Mastery, right? Yeah, man. I'm down, right?
I'm not. Because you don't gain anything.
You don't have to give
You
up
get to
the-
refine you do gain. If you have
don't.
found...
Everybody else gets an ability score improvement, and you
This
just...
doesn't replace your ability score improvement.
Yeah.
This is over and on top. When you would get the level in this class that grants an ASI, you can also do this.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so
That's fine.
You get this at the same time as your ASI.
I was just going to shit on it, but...
So
all right.
like this adds that, like we mentioned, like the Blessed Warrior cantrip being able to change it more frequently than a cleric would as well bothers me. This just adds more versatility. It makes you not have to like really commit to certain
Yeah. If you're sensing a change in the campaign, the story arc, and what are the types of enemies that are coming at you, or the situational change, or how other people are playing their characters.
Or characters get replaced. Right?
Or at level 7, your sword and board paladin comes across a great sword that's a +5 Vorpal great sword. You're like, well, I don't have a shield anymore, y'all. Intervention's not gonna work.
I forgot how to use shield.
Well, it's not that you forgot how to use shield. It's just I'm not gonna use shield because this thing will chop its head off.
Yeah.
Right. Sure. So I like it. It extends that shelf life.
Okay.
Okay, so now comes the time in every single episode where we break to what we like to call a commercial, but it's really just us pimping our own shit, and it makes Dan very uncomfortable to have to eat shit like this when we ask you guys to do stuff for us. But we love you, and we love doing this podcast, but it is not freaking cheap. And I'm going to break the fourth wall, and I'm going to pull it back, and I'm going to say, guys, we could use the help. We are a struggling little podcast doing our own thing, and it comes entirely out of our pockets. And we got to buy books to review them and to be up to date on the regular stuff. We have to subscribe to D&D Beyond, and of course there's the web hosting and paying Podbean and everything else. So we're asking, please, if you can find it in your hearts, to kick a little bit in our direction. We are doing everything in our power to release as many different shows and episodes as we can, but it takes a lot of time, a lot of energy, a lot of love, and a lot of money.
And to be completely honest, we have the setup here that we've had for about 1.5 years now, and
if we could all get better mics, this would be a better show.
Yeah. So scripts and jokes out the window, guys. This is a bit of a passion project, and
we don't have a Kickstarter. We don't have a Patreon. We do have a donate button on the website, and we do have a store with, we're selling a lot of stickers these days, which is interesting, but they're only $1.50 a piece, so it only goes so far, and we only get a cut of that. So,
as a balding man, buy more hats.
Anyways, please and thank you for whatever you can kick our way. If you don't, just know that your clicks and your listens feed our love and our passion as well. So thank you for everything that you do, even just by showing up and listening. If you have any more that you can throw our way, we would be more than grateful.
At this point in the episode, we're going to dive into the subclasses. Would everybody please pick up their die?
Okay,
and together we shall roll these dice.
I got an 11.
I got an 8.
9.
Okay.
All right, so it sounds like I am going first. And gentlemen, I am covering from the Heroine book, Sword Coast Adventures Guide, SCAG.
Heroine is also a term that's used in D&D though, in fantasy storytelling. So
that's a heroine with an E at the end, like a female hero.
Okay, I can't hear letters, so
heroine.
I mean, you're British. You literally can't hear letters. Anyways, so the Oath of the Crown is basically a paladin who has sworn fealty to a lord or a king or an emperor or any of that kind of thing. They are the knightiest knight who ever knighted. Okay, if you want to play a knight, play this guy. I mean, there are a couple of good fighter options, but let's be honest, you get to smite. So play
you like smite.
You like smite. So your tenets, being a paladin of the Oath of the Crown, is law, loyalty, courage, and responsibility. Law, your commitment to the law is paramount. It's the mortar that holds the stones of civilization together.
Boring.
And it must be respected. I like this because it's it's the law of your culture, your society, of the crown you swear fealty to. Doesn't necessarily have to apply to where your character is in that given moment.
Right, okay.
If you swear fealty in Thay and you're down in Chult, that's going to play different in the law.
Okay.
Okay? You have loyalty. Your word is your bond. I mean, you're a fucking paladin. You're a knight. Honor is a code. Okay? So without loyalty, oaths and laws are meaningless. It's true. I actually agree with that. Courage. You must be willing to do what needs to be done for the sake of order, specifically order, even in the face of overwhelming odds. If you don't act, then who will? Again, the knightiest knight who ever knighted, right? Like, this is the guy who's running after the dragon by himself on his armored horse, right? I mean, that might be a cavalier, which is a fighter subclass, but you get the point. Anyways, responsibility is the last one, where you deal with the consequences of your actions and you are responsible for fulfilling your duties and obligations. Okay? So you keep your word and you follow through with what you say. Now, for spells, you guys get command and compelled duel at 3rd level. Paladin.
Oh.
So command, of course, is say a word and they have to do it with a wisdom save. Compelled duel is pretty fun because they make a wisdom save or they have to fight you. They have disadvantage on any attacks that involve a creature not you. So like you hinder them attacking anyone else but yourself.
I love this.
And it must make a wisdom save whenever it attempts to move away from you beyond 30 feet. So if it tries to run away from you beyond 30 feet.
This is compelled duel, right?
Yeah, this compelled
You
duel.
make it fight you, and if it doesn't want, it tries to run away. It has to make a wisdom
Yeah.
save.
Now, it does add a little caveat to you as the player. The spell will end if you try to attack anyone other than the thing you compelled duel with.
Oh, I love it, though.
If you cast a spell that targets a hostile creature other than the target, friends, I mean, you don't really get Fireball, but an AoE that one creature kind of just happens to be affected by, as long as you're still mainly targeting your main character, I'd let the duel continue. And if a creature friendly to you damages that target or casts a harmful spell on it.
Where the effect ends if like
Yes.
your friend hits it.
So when you compel duel, they have to fight you, but none of your friends can fight it.
Right. Okay.
Okay? It's mono a mono. Okay? You also get Warding Bond, which we already talked about earlier as a paladin spell. This was part of the Oath of Crown before, as well as Zone of Truth, which make a wisdom save or not being able to tell a lie. You get Aura of Vitality at 9th level, which is basically a 30-foot radius around you where you can use your bonus reaction to heal a creature for 2d6 hit points, and that sticks with you for a minute. It just follows you around like an aura. Congratulations, you're a paladin. You have auras. Use them. And Spirit Guardians, which is a great little spell that gives you a small army that follows you around and just does a fuck ton of damage to things, right?
And reduces other creatures' speed to half.
Yeah.
It's a ridiculously powerful spell.
At 13th level, you get Banishment, which, I mean, we all know what Banishment does. Get the fuck off my plane. And Guardian of Faith, which creates a Spectral Guardian in a specific square that lasts for 8 hours. Any hostile creature that enters a space within 10 feet of the Guardian has to succeed on a Dex save or take 20 radiant damage straight up, half as much on a successful one. The Guardian will vanish after it deals 60 points of damage.
Sick.
Finally, at 17th level, you get Gish, which is basically an advanced form of command. You tell a creature to do a thing and they just are compelled to do it. If they don't, they take 5d10 psychic damage, right? And you get Circle of Power, which is another aura ability which radiates 30 feet from you, and any friendly creature in the area has advantage on all saving throws against spells or other magical effects. And additionally, when an affected creature succeeds on a saving throw made against a spell or magical effect that allows it to take only half damage, it takes none of the damage instead.
Ooh.
Okay? These spells are very much you fight me, only me, you will do what I tell you to do, no one else will tell you what to do, and I will benefit my group around me to fight the rest of your friends at the same time.
Yeah.
Okay? Now you get 2 Channel Divinity options at 3rd level with these guys. You get the Champion Challenge, which is as a bonus action, you choose a guy and they make a wisdom save, and then they cannot move away from you if they fail. It's basically Compelled Duel as a bonus action Channel Divinity spell. It's great. You also get to Turn the Tide, which as a bonus action, you bolster injured creatures with your Channel Divinity. Each creature within 30 feet of you that can hear you, so they don't have to see you, they just have to hear you, gains hit points equal to 1d6 plus your charisma modifier if it has no more than half of its hit points. So if something's below half of its hit points and can hear you and you choose to, you can give them that hit point boost back as their bonus action. At 7th level, you get Divine Allegiance, which is when a creature within 5 feet of you takes damage, you can use your reaction to magically substitute your own health for that target, causing the damage to take no effect on the creature you buff, and instead you take all of it. So the one caveat on this is the damage that you take cannot be reduced or prevented in any way. So if you're using this ability, you're taking that hit. Okay? I find this, your wizard gets hit by a crit, your paladin just steps in the way and takes it.
Love it.
Yeah. I'm not sure if you guys are anime nerds, but this is like Piccolo standing in front of Gohan, right? This is just taking the full front of that attack. Terry's looking at me like I've betrayed him deeply. At 15th level, you become an Unyielding Saint, which is when you gain advantage on saving throws to avoid being paralyzed and stunned. That's all you get, but that's a big thing. And then at 20th level, you become an Exalted Champion for 1 hour a day per long rest for 1 hour. You are resistant to all bludgeoning, piercing, and slashing damage from non-magical weapons. Your allies have advantage on death saving throws within 30 feet of you. And within 30 feet of you, you have advantage on wisdom saving throws as well as your allies. The one thing I would note is you don't get the advantage on death saves. Your friends do. You don't.
That's all right.
Right?
Yeah.
So this ends early if you are incapacitated or die, which, I mean, that would make sense. You're not getting those death saves. And once you use the feature, you could use it again after you take a long rest. So there you go. There's your Oath of the Crown, guys.
Okay, let's quickly roll initiative on this one then, because I want to talk about this one. I got 14.
I got a 19.
19.
What do you want to know?
16.
Well, last with the 14. I want to know what stats, race, background clearly synergizes well with this build.
Honestly, anything that gives you a boost to con. I think this is your paladin that takes a higher con than a strength necessarily, or charisma even.
Right.
So a dwarf, a Goliath, a half-elf and humans, of course, but like all those con boosting races, a Firbolg, I believe, has a con boost. There's a bunch of them. But like anything that gives you that boost to con, you're doing it. Also, you are Oath of the Crown. You are military.
Yeah.
Full stop. So if your background isn't veteran or soldier or city watch, you're doing something wrong.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't go city watch because it feels like you'd be the most powerful fucking city watch person ever.
Oh,
People
yeah,
join the
100%.
city watch were people who were not good enough to join the army.
Well, you look at all of the spies that go on missions with James Bond. James Bond walks out, every other spy dies.
Yeah.
Right? They're all just spies. And I mean, you're not Sean Bean 008 Trevelyan, but I mean, that's the one exception to the rule. But like, you're the same rank as everyone else. You're just the hero. So it makes sense if you're the City Watch guy.
I don't see it like that, but that's okay. Kyle?
Yeah, I mean, I think I can kind of see the City Watch. I mean, they are to protect people, so
Okay.
they would take that
The
bullet
City
for,
Watch is when
for the civilians.
people join the curling team because they didn't make the hockey team. That's City Watch compared to the army, right? We're going to go and fight for the kingdom. Can I come? Just stand on that wall. And if they get close enough, we're fucked anyway.
Isn't a City Watch like basically a cop?
It's like
Yeah.
it's not like police, is it? It's
Well,
just
no,
like,
100% it is.
it's not like police. It's
Yeah,
more like
walking
no,
around.
it's more like security.
Oh,
It's not like police.
if you are in a campaign and you, Terry, get in a bar fight, which you will,
Yeah.
who gets called?
The security.
It's not the army. The army doesn't run in. The City Watch, the
Who
guards
kicks, you
of
out,
the
who
town.
kicks you out of a bar when you get too drunk?
Bouncer.
The security.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who are
So we agree.
normally trying to become cops. So like the
Well,
bouncers
no,
are
I
the
kind
cops.
of. We're not going to just nuke an entire profession of people here.
What? Because all of the City Watch campaign out there, Dad?
No, but like the bouncers and the security guards who are just failed cops.
Well, like they're trying to become cops. I didn't say they failed.
Okay, this isn't the important part of the conversation. Okay.
Okay, what sticks out to me, honestly, my first thought is human noble. That's
interesting.
Yeah. I mean, you're the knightiest knight that ever
the
knighted.
nicest knight that ever knighted.
And knights were nobles. They could not be the common folk.
Okay, I like that. I like the spin you put in it, but I don't see that. I see it like I would do this as Goliath or half orc or something big, because this is, I hope you got up early and I hope you packed a lunch, because me and you, son, are going to be here for a while.
Yeah.
And that's like the person that starts fighting you immediately regrets it, and then they can't get away. They're like, please God. And you just keep fucking pulling them back in. Keep beating the shit out of them. So that's why I didn't see it as like City Watch. This is somebody who's just, he's done this before.
I would love to see a build of these guys that has like Tavern Brawler or a little bit of Monk. Because they're just sitting there just like, all right, let's do this. And just cracking their knuckles and going.
Because I see City Watch as like the two guys up on the wall, and one keeps pulling his knife on. He's like, because if anyone comes up to me, I'll give him one of them. I'll give him one of them. And the other guy's like, you've literally never done that before.
Yeah, you will literally piss yourself if you see a brigand on the other side of the wall. On the good side of the wall.
Right. What about, last question for this one, what are the strengths when it comes to role-playing this subclass then? We can go same initiative order.
Like I said, you want to play a knight.
Yeah.
Which is like an iconic fantasy trope. This is what you do, man. You get healing, you get the full armor, you get the shield, you get a little bit of spell and mysticism to it that adds that sense of wonder and mystery.
Right.
You get the power of being that absolute Raffle Stomp, I will fuck your day smite crit that all paladins are.
Yeah.
Man, I mean, you want to play a knight, you play one of these guys.
Kyle, you said noble. So how would you kind of roleplay it as a noble?
Oh man, I would play this character so annoying. Like, just for king and country, I will save you. No,
know exactly
stand back, peasants.
I played that character.
Yeah.
The guy who's just a bit too loud
Yeah.
all the time.
Yeah, showy. Like, it'd be perfect for you. You love a showy paladin. So.
I've already played this character.
Yeah.
This is Titus.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I would play. I love that version of it, but I would play it slightly differently. I would play it as like a noble plays by gentleman's rules, right? They know when to stop. They kind of play clean. This is the person who does not know when to stop. They don't want to win this battle. They want to win all of the battles. How dare you even think that you could beat me? Now I'm going to make you cry and piss yourself. That's how I would play this. But Tavern Brawler is perfect for this, I think. Okay, who was going second?
That would be me.
Kyle?
Okay, I'm going to be talking about the Oathbreaker Paladin. Yeah, so an Oathbreaker Paladin is one who has forsaken their holy vows in order to pursue their ambitions or serve a malevolent force.
I'm listening.
Thanks, Terry. Appreciate that.
Terry just adjusted himself in the seat, and now I'm uncomfortable.
Where once was good, only evil remains. To be an Oathbreaker Paladin, you must be both of an evil alignment and 3rd level.
Ooh, a paladin with an alignment restriction. Oh. This makes my 3.5 Dan happy.
So you lose...
Wait, were you going to comment about
I'll wait
3.5
until we roll. No, not talking.
Already gearing up. So this is normally a paladin that was something else. It had a different oath before, but got rid of it. So as such, they replaced all previous paladin features that they had with the Oathbreaker ones. However, an Paladin can come back from being an Oathbreaker through proper atonement by way of heroic and selfless deeds. First, by shedding their evil alignment, and then by undertaking a quest or trial. Once completed, the Paladin can choose a new deity and oath of their choosing. Once again, losing all the Oathbreaker abilities in favor of the ones from their new calling. It says in the DMG that it doesn't have to be the same one, but personally, I don't think you should be allowed to go back to your same oath if you are an Oathbreaker Paladin. Like, you either shouldn't be allowed back in that order of Paladins, or, like, if you became disenfranchised from it, you probably wouldn't want to go back.
I wonder, maybe I would counter that by saying maybe you might not be accepted, but you still might swear that oath.
Okay.
You know
Yeah, I
what
can
I'm
see
saying?
that. Yeah.
Well, also consider, to be cleansed of it, you need to undergo the atonement spell, which requires a lot of roleplay, requires a lot of build-up. I would include the atonement spells up there with like a resurrection spell as one of those spells where, as a DM, I'm taking some liberties with and making you go through a process, a descriptive role-playing process to cast it, right? Because you have to show that your character has atoned. So if you were an Oath of Devotion and then you fell and became an Oathbreaker and you played in your campaign for 6 levels as an Oathbreaker Paladin, and now you have become atoned and have decided to redevote yourself to whatever your grouping was before, that act of atonement is going to be that cleansing act that I think most paladin orders would would look at and accept and follow through with, right? Because you've been atoned for the sin that made you fall in the first place.
Yeah.
Being atoned means you don't have to pay for it anymore. You now get in. You're still rank 1, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you might have the powers of a level 15 Oath of Devotion Paladin, but you are still a rank 1 in the organization because you have to start at the ground again. All those previous years of work up until that point left the day you committed that sin.
Yeah. You have to earn your place back in it.
You got to earn your place back, right? I think that actually builds for really intriguing storylines, especially,
It would be very interesting.
especially since you have to be evil.
Yeah.
So
Paladin storylines, you could go so many directions with it. I mean, I think it's something that you shouldn't just gloss over and be like, I'm this, I'm that. Like, I'm getting like Greyjoy vibes of like, what is dead, man never die, drowning and then being revived.
well, you look at Greyjoy, like he killed
Perfect
kids.
example, right? Yeah.
Perfect example.
Yeah.
Killed kids.
Yeah.
This dude's a child Murderer.
Dan has a motorcycle club. Dan, you're not Dan, you're Kyle. I'm pointing at.
I'm usually sitting where Kyle is.
Kyle has a motor. Well, I do this all the
It's
time
not
anyway.
my motorcycle club, just so we're like, clear on that.
No, you're like Sergeant at Arms.
No, he's not allowed to
treasurer.
proclaim and advertise the motorcycle club on the
Right,
internet.
okay.
Yeah. Someone's kneecaps would probably get removed.
The 9 Hells Angels.
Damn. Anyway, sorry, go ahead. We haven't even gotten to the abilities of this thing yet.
So yeah, like I think it really does depend on what the backstory is for it, right? Like I like it a lot because there is a lot of options and in a lot of ways you can play this character. And so I think that would really depend on what your new oath is going to be, I guess. But either way. So subclass features. With the Oathbreaker, you gain an expanded spell list consisting of Hellish Rebuke and Inflict Wounds at level 3. Hellish Rebuke is you hit me, I hit you back.
Yeah.
Right?
With fire.
Yeah. Inflict Wounds, pretty obvious.
Yeah.
Opposite
It looks like Cure Wounds, but isn't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
At level 5, you get Crown of Madness and Darkness. We have Crown of Madness, where one humanoid of your choice within 120 feet of you succeed on a Wisdom saving throw, or they are charmed. The charmed creature must use its action before moving, and it must use that action to use melee attack a creature other than itself that you mentally choose. The creature then can act normally on its turn if you choose no creature or if none are within reach.
So you're like, hey, you, hit that dude.
Yeah.
I was like, okay.
It's basically like a more fun command.
Yeah.
Right.
It's a command that'll let you make them hurt their friends.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Darkness, pretty obvious. It's cover an area in darkness. At
spell.
level 9, you get Animate Dead and Bestow Curse.
And now we see why you have to be evil.
Mm-hmm.
You get Animate Dead, you're not a good person. Well, Adam might disagree.
I would disagree.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, clerics get Animate Dead, don't they?
Sometimes people are just lost, right?
Yeah.
They're just clinging on to things. They're in like their own kind of madness, but they're not necessarily evil.
Okay, fair.
Or just need a
Curse?
little help from a friend.
Curse?
I mean, curse is a strong term, yes.
It is literally what you do with the spell.
Level 13, you get Blight. So yeah, evil.
Okay.
yeah.
And one man's curse is another man's bless, really, like when we think about it, right?
Yeah. And also Confusion. And then finally, at level 17, you get Contagion and Dominate Person.
You're
I mean, there's an
argument.
argument for neutral.
Yeah.
There's not an argument for good. There's not one
It
for
gets worse. So if you thought that was bad, I got some news for you.
As the only class in the game that requires an evil alignment, I certainly hope so.
So I think their channel divinities are the best of any subclass. Like, they are ridiculously powerful. They get Control Undead, whereas in action they can target one undead creature within 30 feet of themselves, forcing it to make a Wisdom saving throw, which undead suck at Wisdom saving throws, so it's almost a guarantee. Where on a fail, the target must obey the Paladin's commands for the next 24 hours.
I just see your necromancer like summoning a blade claw or a bone claw or whatever it is, and your paladin going, "Oh, I like him. I'm going to name him Fred."
Yeah.
Fred, hit the necromancer, and Fred just turns slowly, and the necromancer shits himself.
I will take that now. The creature is immune if its challenge rating is equal to or above the Paladin's current level.
Maybe not a bone claw. Okay.
Yeah. Well, I mean, even at 3rd level, you can still take over a challenge rating 2 undead, which is pretty decent.
Yep.
And then they also get a Dreadful Aspect, whereas in action, you let the hate flow through you like a Sith. And each creature of the Paladin's choice within 30 feet of it must make a Wisdom saving throw, where on a fail, that target is frightened of the Paladin for the next minute, meaning that creature has disadvantage on attack rolls and ability checks as long as it can see the Paladin and cannot willingly move closer to them. At level 7, they get Aura of Hate, which is coincidentally also what I get whenever I'm in the same room as Terry.
I didn't hear what you said because I was adjusting my sock. What did you say?
I said at level 7, they get Aura of Hate, which is coincidentally also what I get whenever I'm in the same room with you.
At least you're not Brad.
Yeah.
Terrible.
Yeah, you know what you did, Terry.
What did I do?
What didn't you do?
Remember when we were playing board games and we were supposed to team up against the
I
tyranny
stayed
that
on
it
your
was
team.
Ian or Dave and Adam? No, you turned on me the first second you got, the first chance you got.
I can't believe. Do you know?
I mean, you guys were playing an evil campaign of this, weren't you?
No, it was just a board game.
Scythe,
Oh, it was a board
we
game.
were playing
Oh, okay.
Scythe.
Yeah.
And he's like,
Do you know what's so funny is you're carrying this around with you, and I forgot it happened. Okay, Kyle, I won't ever do that to you again because I realize now that it bothers you, but I might need you. We might need each other. I mean to say, in the future.
Yeah.
So
once you are properly penitent, I'll forgive you.
Rough.
I'm just kidding, Terry. I love you, man. You're a great guy. Anyways, Aura of Hate.
So what does Aura of Hate do?
it is leaning towards evil. The words that are coming out of this.
Yeah.
Aura of Hate. It's hard to make an argument for good.
Any undead and fiends within 10 feet of you increase to 30 feet at level 18 of the Paladin, as well as the Paladin himself gain a bonus to melee weapon damage equal to the Paladin's Charisma modifier. At level 15, it gets them supernatural resistance, meaning they get resistance to non-magical stabs, smashes, and slicey dicey attacks. Finally, at level 20, they get the Dreadlord ability, where once per long rest, as an action, the Paladin can surround themselves with an aura of menace and gloom that turns bright light in a 30-foot radius to dim light. The Paladin and creatures of its choice within the aura are covered in even deeper shadows, meaning creatures that rely on sight have disadvantage to hit them. On top of that, if any creature that has been frightened by the Paladin starts its turn in there, it will take 4d10 psychic damage. And as a bonus action, the Paladin can also attack a creature in the aura with the shadows by making a melee spell attack. On a hit, that creature takes 3d10 plus its charisma modifier in necrotic damage. That aura lasts for 1 minute.
Jeez.
Sometimes I think when the flavor text comes out, can you imagine being the NPCs in this environment? Can you imagine being the baker that got dragged along on this bullshit? And then everything you described is happening to level 0 Fred, who runs the bakery? Like,
yeah.
I can't imagine.
Poor guy.
I think we need to put more flavor text into these D&D campaigns.
I'm with you.
DMs.
Yeah, just like slowly spreading dark light moving through your town, and then all of a sudden, like, someone gets ripped out of their home by a shadow.
Exactly.
Terrifying.
I always thought that's how they should do Batman movies. I thought one director should do it like it's fucking terrifying. The idea that Batman is coming for you is like this, bone chilling.
The new Batman movie coming out with Robert Pattinson, I'm hopeful.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to it.
Yeah.
So I think their synergy with the undead makes them really unique, almost like they had a favorite ally instead of an enemy. And if you paired them with a necromancer and a cleric, like, you're gonna cause some damage.
Yeah.
Right. So
you could have this as like the necromancer's like Bane character, like that. Yeah.
This is
or if they were in a party like a grave cleric, a necromancer, and this guy, you're fucking unstoppable.
Exactly.
What you need to do is, like, this is the character that is slowly trying to become a Dread Knight. Right? He's slowly trying to become that evil, undead. Like, you know how most evil wizards try to become liches? This guy, like, knows you could attain immortality as a Dread Knight.
I love it.
Okay, yeah, I can definitely see that.
Yeah.
For insights, like parallels, the first thing I thought about with this is necromongers from the Chronicles of Riddick.
Yeah, I guess so, hey?
Yeah, there was another one too that I thought of as I was falling asleep, but then I woke up and I couldn't remember what it was. It's driving me nuts. I've been trying to figure it out all day. Yeah, I think that's it.
Okay. I love how you gave one example and then told us that there was another one, but you can't remember what it is.
Yeah, I know.
You could have just given one. There's two. I can't remember.
I just wanted you to know that I had another
that you'd been trying hard.
I've been trying.
That's okay. Okay, should we roll initiative on this? I'll go with a black die because I'm inspired. 10.
I got a natural 20.
Ooh, 5.
All right, Dan. I want to know about the stats, race, background, things that you think will work well for this.
So, I mean, this guy I see being an acolyte more than anything else. I want them to have that religious bent to them in terms of a background. Or go knight, which gives you 3 retainers as an ability that follow you around.
Okay.
Right? Just make them undead.
Yeah.
Why not?
Yeah.
Right? As for race, okay, hear me out. I really want to see these guys be like a fire genasi or
I'm into it. Yeah.
or Shadar Kai or a Kalishtar. Like I want to have. Let's be honest. An Oathbreaker Paladin is you lean into the edge.
Right.
So tiefling, right? Anything that is like surface level evil, this you could then ramp up with a Oathbreaker Paladin, right? I mean, there's a lot of things that work. I really like tiefling because you get that bonus to charisma as well, which always will help a paladin. So Yeah, man. That's what I think. A tiefling.
Yeah. Yeah, I think...
Or a red dragonborn.
Yeah, I was trying to stay away from the obvious, but I was leaning to Dragonborn as well. I was thinking Black Dragonborn, of course.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
But that's the direction I was going as well. Just truly terrifying, as though they tried to go against their nature or what they think their nature should be, and they just failed. You know, like they just never believed in themselves that they could hold this good anyway, so they just fully embraced the dark side.
Fallen ASMR.
Oh, yeah. Like a Scourge
yeah,
ASMR? Yeah.
No, Fallen ASMR, because they also fell off that path, right? So just double down on the I have thrown away my legacy or everything that I was gonna be, and just fuck it.
Yeah, go the other route to go like you could also go like silver or gold dragonborn and like go that metallic or
But,
right.
Well,
like anything that's traditionally good. So like shit, be a gnome.
Well, see, you can do that. The reason I said Black Dragonborn is because the whole world would view them as that anyway. Mm-hmm. And I think over time, or your backstory should show that this is a cultural thing, and that everybody thinks you're that, expects that from you, tells you are that your whole life, and then that's what you become. Because the world won't let you be anything else. Mm-hmm. And so if that's what you're saying I am, that's what I'm going to become, and it's going to be worse than you ever imagined.
I like that.
Okay, so guys, with this idea of the Oathbreaker Paladin and the Oath of the Crown Paladin, it really got me thinking the organizations that we base our characters around. A lot of times when you have a character, you have that, that orphan who is born under a sign and like going forward and has no background attachments. I would really caution all players and all DMs to put in a lot of work into the organization that raises your character as well, right? Your parents are the ones who gave birth to you, yes, but who taught you how to swing a sword for the first time, who taught you how to speak properly, right? Who taught you the rules of court and the methods of survival on the road. Those characters are going to be just as important as any of your parental or any of those other figures, right? So not only does it give your DMs more ammunition to kind of draw your character down emotional pathways, which is, let's be honest, we're seeking that in this game. We're seeking that emotional release, that interesting narrative story. So when you're building your backstories, when you're building your character, when you're going through the arc of your character's story, have organizations and groups that are well fleshed out, that your party and your player can interact with and really help develop who their character wants to be. Give them role models, right? And then take them away in horrible bloody deaths. Okay? That is my DM tip and my player tip for the day. This is coming from a place of pain because this is recently going to be happening to one of the players in the campaign I'm running. I've built this whole like little organization and I'm about to tear their souls out of their chests. So it's going to be lots of fun.
Excellent.
All right.
Yeah.
I am really excited to hear more about that.
Yeah. Remind me in 1 week about the Pendrakis clan.
Yeah,
it'll be fun. Fuck you, Jared.
Fuck you, Jared.
If you guys like what you hear, please find us on Instagram, Facebook, and r/itsAmimic on Reddit. You can also send us questions to info@itsamimic.com, and we also take any questions for our mailbag episodes.
Okay, I guess I'm third. And I have Oath of the Watchers. I want to read this little Tasha quotation here that says, "These paladins aren't at all up to what I expected. Worse, they send home your party's best guests." And I related with that.
I've done a little bit of reading into the Oath of the Watchers. I straight up fucking love this.
Yeah.
Like,
oh, you like this one?
Yeah.
Are you ready to go? Yeah. I like it as well. Okay, so for those folks at home, the Oath of the Watchers are a group of paladins that protect the mortal realms from the extraplanar threats.
Yeah.
As aliens. It's the aliens out there in space. And
this is your Cthulhu. This is your Mind Flayers.
It really is. And it's kind of going away from the traditional sort of religious and swearing to a deity, but it's more looking extraterrestrial. And that's what I kind of enjoy about it. The tenets of the Watchers being vigilance. The threats you face are cunning, powerful, and subversive. Be ever alert for their corruption. Or loyalty. Never accept gifts or favors from fiends or those who truck with them. Stay true to your order, your comrades, and your duty. Discipline. You are the shield against the endless terrors that lie beyond the stars. Your blade must be forever sharp and your mind keen to survive what lies beyond. So, the spells for this oath then So they get Alarm, Detect Magic, Moonbeam, See Invisibility, Counterspell, Non-Detection, Aura of Purity, Banishment, Hold Monster, and Scrying. I don't know what you guys think about those, but they all seem to line up with spells I thought would be useful and relevant to this.
Well, yeah, I mean, you are preventing the arrival of extraplanar, outer world level threats.
Yeah.
All of that's going to be helpful to you. Like Aura of Purity, your banishment,
See Invisibility, if they're hiding within.
Hold Monster.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I even like Moonbeam as an addition. It was a weird, like, I thought it was a weird choice at first, but then the more I read into it, like, you know, any shape changer has to change back to their original form.
Yeah.
Right? Like, it was cool addition. I liked it.
Yeah.
I'm kind of sad they don't get true seeing, but
Yeah.
especially with like the character art, this dwarf paladin of the Watcher that's there has glowing eyes, and I'm like, well.
Yeah. Okay, let's check out the Channel Divinity.
Sure.
Watcher's Will. You can use your Channel Divinity to invest your presence with the warding power of your faith. So as an action, you can choose a number of creatures you can see up to 30 feet of you. That's a number equal to your charisma modifier, minimum of one creature. And for 1 minute, you and the chosen creatures have advantage on intelligence, wisdom, and charisma saving throws. I can certainly find a time when I think that would be useful for me.
Yeah, like you get jumped by a mind flayer and you go, oh, fuck, okay, everybody, gird your loins, we're doing this. Right?
Yeah. Abjure the Extraplanar. As an action, you present your holy symbol, and each aberration, celestial, elemental, fey, or fiend within 30 feet of you that can hear you must make a wisdom save, or they're turned for up to 1 minute.
This is turn. Yeah, so this is turn, aberration, celestial, elemental, fey, and what's that last one?
Fiend.
Or fiend. Yeah, so turn all the weird things from out of the plane.
Yeah, absolutely. At 7th level, Aura of the Sentinel, so you emit an aura of alertness when you aren't incapacitated, and when you and any creatures of your choice within 10 feet of you roll initiative, you all gain a bonus to your initiative, which is equal to your proficiency bonus. And at 18th level, that aura increases to 30 feet.
Oh.
That's hugely powerful, because initiative is everything in this game.
Well, I think if you are playing the new race that came out with the Feywild book that just came out, they're the Haringen, basically the rabbit folk, and they get an ability where they get to add the proficiency modifier to their initiative innately with these two things stack.
Yeah.
So you get expertise in initiative. Make this guy I think it's Gloomstalker that gets to add your wisdom modifier to your initiative.
And your initiative rolls 33.
So you get
take the alert
10,
feat, so you get another +5, right? So like you get double proficiency modifier. You get your alert +5. You get your dex, which is probably a +5 because you're a ranger. You stand close to this guy. Like, you're walking around with a +20 something to your initiative.
I know, yeah. Oh, fuck. Yeah. 15th level, you get Vigilant Rebuke, which basically means that whenever a creature you can see within 30 feet of you succeeds on an intelligence, a wisdom, or a charisma saving throw, you use your reaction to cause 2d8 plus your charisma modifier force damage to that creature that forced that saving throw. So essentially, they do good and you hurt them for doing it.
So, like, they make the save and you're like, well, fuck you.
Yeah, and you hurt them anyway. No,
cool. Is there a limitation on the amount of times you can do that in a day?
No, it doesn't say here, I don't think. I'm sure it will if there is. It doesn't say.
You can use your reaction to deal
it's
2d8
reaction.
plus your charisma modifier force damage.
Yeah.
Jeez. All right.
What about this 20th level one here? Mortal Bulwark. So you manifest a spark of divine power and defense against the mortal realms. As a bonus action, you gain the following benefits for 1 minute. I'm going to read this one verbatim. It's from page 55 of Tasha's, and that's just because there's no way I'll be able to paraphrase all of this. You gain true sight within a range of 120 feet. You have advantage on attack rolls against aberrations, celestials, elementals, fey, and fiends. When you hit a creature with an attack roll and deal damage to it, you can also force it to make a charisma saving throw against your spell save DC. On a failed save, the creature is magically banished to its native plane of existence. If it's not currently there, on a successful save, the creature can't be banished by this feature for 24 hours. Notice there's no time. This is not the banished spell.
No.
Yeah.
It just goes. It doesn't come back a minute later. It's see you later.
That's like you hit it and just goes whoop.
It's a bonus action, but you can only do it once per long rest. Unless you expend a 5th level spell slot to use it again.
Jeez. Okay, so this lasts for a minute. You get all of these benefits. And then you could recharge it with a 5th level spell slot, which you're just going to use on smites normally. And this is more powerful than a smite.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and you're 20th level at this point, so you're going to need this again.
Oh, yeah.
You know, if it's fitting in with your story arc.
So, yes. Yeah. I'm annoyed that the Oath of the Crown doesn't get the reuse this ability on a spell.
Right, yeah.
Right? You really see this evolution of the game as the years go by. And Skag being as old as it was, it just didn't have that. And now we see that popping up more and more with more classes, especially with Tasha's and
Right.
down the line. So
Okay, let's roll initiative. Kyle, ready?
in the box, Terry. In the box, Kyle. In the box, Terry. Shit.
That's what she said.
Shit in the box. 19!
I'm not here to yuck anybody's yum, but yuck.
For those at home, Kyle got a 15, Dan got a 4. Okay, so stats, race, background. What's jumping out? What do we think for this one? I'm going
You first, my dude.
That's what a 19 means.
I've got to go...
Higher numbers are the gooder ones.
Yeah.
I have to go human for this one because I want them to appear very vulnerable because I'm just getting pure Men in Black vibes
Okay, cool.
from this.
Okay,
I'm going deep down Men in Black, so I don't want anything too showy for the character because the idea being that it's revealing the interesting races and creatures elsewhere, but I would like my character to appear quite vulnerable and mundane.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's what's jumping out at me.
For me, I'd have to say anything with a long lifespan, like elves, like dwarves, yeah, something that's it's seen the effects that these creatures have had, and so it's dedicated its existence to defeating this menace that is trying to constantly come in. Because I mean, these menaces live forever, right? So you want to have eternal guardians against them.
For me, it's any of the races that have that flavor of the plains. This would work really well. So I think Firbolg, I think Kalashtar, I think Shifters even would work in this. The Eladrin would work really well considering they are Fae, right? So fairies and Haringans, of course, being from the Feywild books. Anything that has that flavor of the plains, I'd want to have here because they know what evils come from the plains and they have made their home on the material plane and they are here to protect it, right? So it really, really tracks. And as long as you have a bonus to charisma, constitution, or strength, you're golden.
Right. I want to ask one more question though
Sure.
on this. What are the strengths of the class when it comes to role playing? I mentioned Men in Black real briefly there, and I wondered if that sparked any inspiration or if you guys already had your own on how you might role play this character. Me first, yeah. I'm thinking role playing in that you're complementing, like say the bard. We know the bard does all the talking, but a lot of these spells and the abilities are around like revealing, right?
Yeah.
So it's like see invisibility. Even that channel divinity there where you turned the aberrations and the fiends or whatever, that is a way of revealing them in a hidden crowd. You know, if you're in a marketplace and you're trying to find somebody and you knock that ability on, and then all of a sudden they're all sprinting away, you revealed that, right? And so I think you can tie that into investigations and like the interpersonal kind of role play as being like those Men in Black type reveals.
This guy's to me is like the fantasy private eye, like in a way, right? You could play the Harry Dresden, and this is the kind of character you'd get, right?
Yeah.
Where you're exactly like you said, like they're there to kind of root out outsiders, and I'm very Men in Black feel. You're completely correct there. So like you play these guys, I don't see them necessarily being a full order. I don't see them playing into an order. I would definitely play these guys solo, but have an order that like kind of occasionally pops its head in. I just have very Dresden feels with these guys.
Yeah. Kind of a little bit of like a Van Helsing kind of feel.
Yeah,
as well. Yeah.
Like loose collections of people all over the world kind of thing.
Yeah.
I see them as being very aloof. Like they are the person that's standing in the back of a room, not really talking to, but they can see everything, right? Like I imagine them having a very high perception.
Oh,
Right.
100%. Or and very high insight.
Yeah.
Right? So any race that gives you a bonus to int and wisdom would benefit here. I can't believe I just realized this, but these guys could also be like your Winchesters from Supernatural, right?
Yeah.
Okay,
Your Men of Colors level of things where it's a society that is hell-bent to remove the taint of evil and devils and demons from our plane, right?
Yeah.
If I'm doing an Avernus campaign where I'm going from Baldur's Gate into Avernus, I'm playing one of these if I'm not playing a cleric.
I liked what you said about high insight because you can get creative as the DM if you have this type of character where it's like if you roll an insight check and you score highly, I would say that you could smell like rotten eggs on this person.
Yeah, you smell the sulfur.
And you know what that means. Everyone else just thinks that somebody's farted or something like that.
Well, we look at things like the Wild Magic Barbarian, which gives you a detect magic ability, but you're a barbarian and you have no rights to be able to be like, oh, that is an evocation spell.
Yeah.
Right? No, you're a barbarian. You're like, that's boom magic.
Yeah.
So using the other senses to describe the effects of the spells, I think is great. I think that's a great idea. Where it's like,
I think so.
you feel that static electricity feel.
Right before...
That your hair you get the spider sense, like your hair stands up on end and you're like, oh shit, there's a fae nearby.
Yeah, it's kind of like, it's absolutely like that, where you're using what appears to be mundane as signs of something else. So whereas the wizard and the other casters may be looking for like hand movements, they may be looking for whispering or something like that, but not the barbarian that you just mentioned notices that he's getting that tingling that always comes right before the shocking grasp spell, or something like that. Oh, this always happens right before that happens. But the wizard isn't going to focus on that.
It's a bit of PTSD.
Yeah, exactly.
Not again. I took off the armor. Exactly. I took it all off, and that's why I'm a barbarian now. Shit.
Exactly that. Okay, let's go into creative builds.
Let's do it.
Okay, final roll. Let's go. I got a 5.
I got a 16.
14.
Kyle got a 14. Kyle, give us a creative build.
I got a 16.
Dan.
I got a 16.
Dan gives a creative build. I'm so focused on what I'm reading that I just say a name.
Yeah,
Megan, give us a creative build.
Yeah.
I don't have the burp ability on me right now.
I
Anyways,
heard it. Yeah, I heard it on the Instagram story.
So I mentioned earlier that the Oath of Crown was the knightiest knight that ever knighted. Well, my build for them is going to actually take that as a bit of a left turn and be like the code of a knight, the code of the Templar was mirrored in some ways. I know they're vastly different things, but in the code of Bushido. And if you want to play a samurai type paladin character, you play Oath of the Crown. Mm-hmm. That stand across the field with each other with your single weapon, command that duel. You're fighting for me. I serve this emperor. I serve this lord, and I am his tool to do with as he pleases and to serve his will out in the fields and to serve his justice out in the field. That feel for a samurai-esque character is great. So I was thinking racially, where would we put this guy? Hobgoblins naturally have a very militaristic and Eastern feel to them. They have a very Japanese samurai era feel to them, so they fit naturally. So a Hobgoblin Oath of the Crown would be amazing, but so would like an Earth Genasi. Earth Genasi get bonuses to con and to strength. They have all of those like stand your ground level abilities, right? Man, I love the idea of a Earth Genasi flavored samurai with Oath of the Crown. And like, again, I would go noble background, I'd go knight background, I'd go militia background, like I would do one of these mercenary background even and follow that. And hell, you could go Ronin with it eventually, and your Oathbreaker Paladin becomes a Ronin. Yeah. Right? Now you have to earn back that favor, that face that you lost when you defied your master's wishes, right? So there's so many cool Eastern flavor roleplay you could have with an Oath of the Crown guy.
That's right.
I love it. Absolutely love it.
I didn't think of going Eastern, but it sounds good. Kyle?
I went edgy with my...
You don't say.
Yeah.
With the Oathbreaker Paladin, you went for the edge.
When I imagined it less that, I want to go to evil. I imagine like losing faith in what I was originally dedicated to, right? Like I was asked to do a despicable act that, fit along with whatever oath I was going for, but that personally felt repugnant to me.
Okay.
As a person. And so I went Dragonborn just because I freaking love Dragonborn Paladins. I don't know why, but like...
I've played one.
Yeah.
No, played more than one.
And so I imagined basically, my order was told to go in and slaughter a village of kobolds. And so that personally affected him so much that he decided to leave it all behind and swear vengeance against his once order. And then the slow transition to coming back and, gaining faith again. I imagine like...
It's an intriguing character arc to run with.
Yeah.
Right? And as a DM, I'm lifting the evil requirement. It's just the requirement is not good, right? You just cannot be a good Oathbreaker Paladin.
Yeah.
Right? I let you be lawful neutral, right? Especially if your goal is that redemption arc.
Yeah.
Right?
Like,
Do you let them-
you're playing the struggle between...
Yeah, you want to play that tension, right?
Do you let them start as an Oathbreaker, or do you make them start as something else
no.
and then?
Depends on the start of the campaign. If I'm playing a evil focused one shot, yes. But most of my campaigns are good and will end with your characters being the big damn heroes. So start it, then have your fall moment, play as an Oathbreaker Paladin for a few levels, and then gain redemption, and then that brings your character that much closer to the tenets that you agreed with your original oath, right? So I love that flow of the narrative where like shit hits the fan and you lose faith, right? And then you build it back up.
I think you can start it from Oathbreaker because I think the backstory can be the fallout. It's that whole idea of when you start a story, you cut the first 10 minutes off. People will figure it out.
Yeah.
You go along with it, right? Like the movie, it starts in the middle of the heist kind of thing, you know, and it's, or at the end of it, you know, it's
going to be tough to introduce an Oathbreaker Paladin to a
and
rest of a party that's neutral or good. Though.
You have very built in the lore of the character somebody who does not play well with others.
yeah, but you can
unless they're undead. And,
you don't have to do that. Just because somebody's evil doesn't mean they need to be fucking Sauron. It could just be that they've swayed away from their original values or whatever.
Yeah.
So, and especially if you're starting level 1 when you're lower powered anyway, you know, it may just be that it's gone off to the side. And you can join them with a party. You may be good people because you may have a common enemy. If you started in the middle of the dragon burning that city down or whatever, and it's in everybody's best interest to work together, I think you can go from there. I hear what you guys are saying, but I don't think it means they need to be all powerful evil. They're just leaning on this side.
Okay.
There can be one foot in it, right? That's my turn. Okay, my character build. I'm going to stick with Oath of the Watchers. I love this Men in Black. I love it when I don't typically play smaller creatures, but I would take something like a gnome or a character that you think would typically not do well or be afraid. I'm serious, Dan.
I'm already invested in Terry playing a gnome.
And I would stick them in somewhere where they're
A small box with long spikes inside.
Yeah, that's what I did.
You pick up the box and shake it a bit.
No, I'd put them in an environment where they're completely outnumbered, completely outgunned, like literally like the City of Brass or something like that.
Oh,
There's
yeah.
Oath of Watchers, and it's not that they're trying to take them all out. It's that this may just be their backstory, because obviously it may not go with the story arc, but kind of like that enemy at the gates feel if you're just trying to go for the officers or the important people.
Yeah.
And people, the people in this place know that this character is out there somewhere, and it's like the reveal in the box. Oh fuck! It's Locky. It's Demon Locky.
It was me all along.
And then he fucks off again down the sewers or something. Like I might literally play him as like something very humble, modest, like literally like an urchin or something like that, where he's just dedicated his life to living in the shadows, and this is for whatever reason in the backstory, this is his cause now.
Jeez.
But somebody who should be completely outgunned and outnumbered.
I like the idea of having like one of these guys fully on display as being a member of the Watchers. All of the extraplanar creatures know what those symbols on their armor mean.
Yeah.
And this dude's
Or on their
just walking.
skin.
Oh yeah, just tattooed in the middle of their forehead.
Yeah.
Like, but this guy's just walking brazenly down the middle of the street in the City of Brass, and there's a pit fiend looking at them like, you motherfucker.
Yeah. Turning all of the rest of the fiends as well.
There are rules here. That means I can't make you wear your intestines, but motherfucker, you turn off the street into an alley and I'm gonna get away with it.
Yeah.
Right? Like, and just your character knows and is openly challenging, you know, fucking fuck around and try it. See what happens.
Fuck around
right?
and see. Yeah.
So,
Okay, final thoughts from anyone?
fucking I love Paladins. And like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
we have gotten so many weak subclasses from Sorko's Adventures Guide. Order of the Crown's not weak, man.
I like them all. I like
them
all of them
yeah.
tonight. Yeah.
Oathbreaker is a bit on the powerful side. Let's be completely honest.
it was.
But every single last one of these is amazing. Is full of flavor, and you're not bound to a religious order, right? I think the closest we get is Oath of the Watchers, and only because it's called Oath of the Watchers.
Yeah.
Right.
I think Paladins has become interesting again. Because before it was everybody knew what the Paladin was the same dude all of the time.
Yeah,
and we got over it and we got sick of that lawful stupid, and now you can be so creative. We gave very different builds there.
It's hilarious. Like when 5e first came out, the Paladin and the Ranger, which have always kind of been associated with each other from previous editions, having the same kind of spell ability, same martial bend,
Right.
same divine influence, right? They've always been kind of closely associated, Rangers and Paladins. But Rangers were always the more flavorful, the more full class, there's a lot more potential in them because they were a lot less restricted than Paladins. They flipped that coin on its head for 5e.
Yeah.
And now we have Paladins that feel full and flavorful and unrestricted, except you have to be evil. And Rangers are just like, wah, wah, pff, right?
Maybe we'll
They've
get
since
there.
fixed Rangers. They've since fixed Rangers.
Right.
I freaking love Rangers now. But like when 5e first came out, man, like it's like they're like, okay, so we're gonna take everything that the Paladin did wrong and we're just gonna do it to the Ranger. Ranger, it's your turn now.
We
Ranger
don't know how
sat in
to
the-
fix this. We're just going to shift the blame.
Exactly. Yeah.
So that's all for this discussion on Paladins. For now, we've got a lot more ground to cover with lots of other classes and subclasses, so subscribe or follow and check back regularly to see what inspirations and insights we'll have for you in the future. Next week, we'll be shifting our conversation from a martial class with some magical flair to a magical class with some martial flair, as we see what new kinds of warlocks are offered up in Tasha's Cauldron of Everything and Van Richten's Guide to Monsters.
Thank you for listening to another episode of the It's a Mimic podcast. If you'd like to support us, we have a donate button on our website at www.itsamimic.com, as well as a store for some awesome merch. We also rely on word of mouth to get the news of the podcast out there to the community. So please pass the word on to everyone you know that we're available on iTunes, Spotify, and YouTube, as well as most podcast apps. Thanks again for listening to It's a Mimic, where you never know what you're going to get. Mostly mangled sentences.
Yes.
This has been an It's a Mimic production. Inquiries, requests, and questions for our mailbags can be sent to info@itsamimic.com.
So, if you guys were a paladin in real life, what do you think it would take to get you to break your oath?
Oh.
Are we rolling?
Yeah, let's roll for this. That white dice is brand new this week, though.
3,
Also a 3, Terry.
Roll
That's
on.
rough.
9.
18, 19.
Back to a 3,
Back
so
to
I'll go
3.
last. So, Kyle?
Honestly, I think it would depend on how hungry I am.
Yeah. Like, I'm a good person until I'm hungry.
Oh
that's right.
man, I love eating too. So like, if someone presented me, they're like, "Here's some crab rangoon." Yeah, I'm sold. Okay,
Yeah.
I'm out.
Yeah. Black lipstick and a pulse will probably do it.
Okay, so
I'm
we've
not too
got
bothered about the pulse.
so we got the hunger motivation. We've got the horny motivation.
Hunger.
Well, with all
The thirst. Hunger and thirst.
Well, with all predators, I mean, there's that response to either fight, fuck, or flee, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, what would make me break my oath? Probably from running away from a fight that I thought was a lot harder than it was.
Dan swears an oath until he becomes a coward and
Yeah.
then runs away.
It was a good idea at the time.
Yeah, it was a good idea. I mean, there was benefits, and then I had to fight a Baylor, and fuck that.
Good point. Good point.
Thanks for listening. Bye.